Hello techies, I'm Divya here. On behalf of CyberBrainer, don't you think the world of tech is evolving faster than ever? Now is the perfect time to dive in and build the skills that will take you places. With CyberBrainer, we are putting you in the driver's seat of your own future. We at CyberBrainer don't just teach your interest. We believe that knowledge is power, but it's applied knowledge that truly sets you apart. Whether you're diving into data science, mastering artificial intelligence, or exploring the world of cybersecurity, our courses are designed to give you the skills that matter. So let's jump into the session and make the future yours today. Thank you.
Process, definitions, and its various columns I've shown you in the tenant. So now we'll just go through the expression of a mind, I think, and we will just go through the proper definitions of the same. So order is you can specify the order in which certain items occur within a business process. If you have marked something as A and then you have marked something as Z and then again you have created one more line with B, so automatically Workday or that business process will pick the order A, B and then Z. Always remember, it will always take the ascending alphabetical order. Usually we are going to assign the alphabets only because number we will keep for the end. If the number of lines are going to execute, number of steps are going to exceed beyond 26. Order is set by entering in one or more alphanumeric characters in the ordered column. The recommendation is to use smaller letters when defining the order. Parallel steps can be configured by specifying the same order for the steps. I have shown you parallel steps. Parallel steps means it will. Both the steps, if we have mentioned the same order, BB, and in the parallel steps order we have mentioned AA, then automatically it will go. Both the steps will go to the respective security group simultaneously. It won't wait for the previous step to get completed and then it will trigger to the next step. No, automatically. Simultaneously, if something is mentioned as parallel steps, that means the order number will be the same. BB will be the order number. Yesterday I have shown you. So parallel steps means both the steps will go. Always remember, this can be a question. Parallel step. These are small topics. Now, because you are going through it, it will look easy to you. These are very small things. But believe me, when introverts will ask you, you will get confused by it. How you are going to execute the parallel steps. They will simply frame a story around it, but the basic concept will remain the same. Parallel steps means they'll have the same order number and they will go to the simultaneously. They will go to the inbox of the respective security groups who are responsible to take the action. It won't wait for one step to complete. There are different types of steps that you can include in the business process. Types can be actions, approvals, batch or job. It can be approval. We need approval for the business process to be done. We can trigger integrations as well, reports as well, within the business process. We will look how we are going to select that, do that, all these things. We can do to-dos. To-dos means background verification. That will take some time. To-dos means that action needs to be taken outside of Workday. Background verification. There will be a step and it will go to the. I'm just taking it as an example tools. For example, let's take background verification. Always when an employee is hired, there is a background verification. Background verification is something we will give a form to the employer. Something like we will collect the information from the employer and it will be done outside the system. There is nothing we are going to do in the system. So there is no task that needs to be taken care of within the system. It will just trigger in the HR partner or something, the security group that is responsible for that particular task. It will trigger an item in their inbox that background verification is pending for this employee. Because it is a to-do employee, you have to do it. Then, once the background verification is done by the team, because they will go to the colleges, they will call. Fine, they will do some kind of background verification for your educational department, for employment history and all everything. They will go there. They will do the background verification. Once it is done, then only HR partner or the security group that is responsible for that background verification. That is who is the owner. They will simply mark it as complete. Fine, this is completed. To do means something they are going to do outside the system. Always remember it won't be any action. No action is needed within the system and nothing will be reflected in the system. Simply, they will mark it as complete. Once you will be doing the hiring of the employee and you have that to do step, you will come to see that how that things will come into picture. Now specifically, I have told you what action means here. We have seen the type action approval. What action you need to perform. What approval you need to perform. So that you are going to maintain in that specified column of the business process. We have seen it yesterday. You guys remember it correct? Again the big silence. I will take it as yes. Now optional, I have told you. Optional means the concerned security group can skip that particular step. If it is marked as optional, there is a column optional in your business process. Steps there. If it is checked as yes means if it is cross-checked, then that means that particular security group has an option to skip it. For example, there is approval for compensation. It went. So I have a manager and he doesn't think that it's need an approval means it needs a stamp from me. If a chair has done it, I can skip that step. I can give approval as well. I can skip that as well. It won't block my business process. So that's the optional thing means optional steps are not required to be completed. An optional step will not automatically be skipped. The recipient need to click on the skip to move the next step. Remember this, it won't be automatically skipped. If it is checked in, it doesn't mean that it will be skipped automatically. There is an icon once we will hire the employee. We will look into that. There is an icon where settings icon will be there. Once you click on that, you have that option to skip that step. Otherwise, you can also take the action that is responsible to take action for this particular step. No one else is going to take the action until and unless it is delegated to someone else. Until unless that particular security group or that particular employee has assigned it to someone else. Due date. Here you can delay the step. There is an option due date. We can set it down, for example, approval of the hire business process. We can mention the due date as after 2 days. You can complete it after 2 days or 29th October. You need to come. We can say that 5th January you need to complete this step. Otherwise it will get disappear and the business process will get pending. In that case, once the action is triggered, the mailbox inbox of the particular security group, it will have that due date also mentioned so that that particular security group knows that. Yes, I want to complete that action by 5th of January. Now complete. Definitely, you have to mark our business process as complete. Otherwise, your business process will be in an error. Always remember this complete steps will be just above your service step. Service step means creation of the Workday account, termination of the business process. If you have a business account, you need to complete that action by 5th of January. If you are into higher business process. So when your higher business process will get complete. Just before the account has been created. Account will be created by Workday. I have told you yesterday that service step is the step where the Workday will create the account for higher business process. When you just take an exemption, just take it in your mind. Forget about Workday when your hire business process will get complete. Guys, be responsive. I want response from each and everyone. So when your hire business process will get complete. Once you have done all these steps, completed all the steps, just before the account is going to get complete. So you are marking your step as complete for a workday, will never know your hire business process is completed or your all the formalities has been completed. I'm ready to make an account. So Workday should have that trigger somewhere marked as that. Completion is marked for this business process. Now I can go ahead and create a user account in the Workday for this particular employee. Correct. Is it clear? So Workday should know, Workday should have that pin. This completion is marked. That means now, after this, immediately I will create a Workday account like you have given a Workday account now. Correct. So somewhere someone has hired you or created your account. So in that case, whenever an employee is being hired, automatically Workday will create an account. So it should have that completion mark, always remember. If you're not going to mark the completion within a business process, Workday will never come to know. So the completion, and it will not give you that required service. Why I'm saying this line, required services, because whenever you are doing that higher business process, what is the service that Workday will offer you? It will create your Workday account. If you are into termination business process, that means what service will Workday give you? It will terminate your user account. We will complete all the approvals, all the steps, and then automatically the service will be given to you. It will be given by Workday unless you haven't marked it as complete. We will see how we are going to mark it complete and which step you need to mark complete. I will show you in the system. It's not like that. You will come and go. Fine, one or two step. I will come and mark it as complete or approval. I will do approval and then the second step itself. I will mark as complete and it's done. No, there are few or there are steps that steps only you can mark as complete. So, when a completion step finishes the business process in the status of completely successfully completed and the data entered in the business process is reflected in the system, there can still be steps that needs to be completed even after the completion step. Now, what do you mean by this line? Now, you can say that you are contradicting your sentences itself. When I come, even though I have marked the step as complete. And then also it is saying that there can be steps that needs to be completed even after the completion step. So here comes the concept. I will just compare with your things. For example, we have hired an employee in the system. Now the employer will say that no, my spouse name is not correct. Even though employee is hired in the system, once you are hired in the system, then only you will get that all your insurance details. You will have those coverage plans. Remember, the company provides to insurance companies. I'm just taking it as an example. Some companies provide you insurance for your families. So initially you won't cover, you won't enter, or the employee won't enter all the details. And also these are things will be done once your account has been created. Because you are going to enter it in the system. Correct. So post your hiring. Some companies will immediately open a link for you that in. Can you please update your insurance details or insurance coverage that you want us to provide you? So in that case, there can be a step post your Workday account creation. It will say that edit insurance coverage or edit personal information, change personal information. so that they need to be created, or that will be done once your account has been created. Then only you can log in, and then you can enter those details in the system on your own. So, although the business process is complete, but few steps can will trigger, if they are any. I'm not saying it needs to be mandatory that you should have those steps after your completion. But yes, usually there are some steps that needs to be taken care of. For example, for the higher business process change, personal information can be there. Employee can change the personal information even after hiring as well. I have forgot to enter my spouse details. I forgot to enter my children detail, my kids details. So you can go ahead and enter in the system once you are hired in the system. So, although your business process will be completed, your business process completion means you are hired in the system, but still some things, some tasks that needs to be taken care by you will be pending in the inbox of the respective security group. If the change personal information needs to be taken care by the employer that is being hired, then it will go to the employee inbox or the HR admin inbox. So here come that concept. There can still be steps that needs to be completed even after the completion step. So if in your interview the interviewer is asking you, although you have marked the completion step is still there, there are some steps that has been lied to. What we mean by that? So here comes the explanation for that. Answer for that. There can be few steps, but although my business process will be completed, the employee will be hired or terminated in the system, but it's still there can be few actions that needs to be pending by few security groups that can be taken care after that. That's why we have few steps mentioned there. And if you haven't marked the completion step, it will give you the business process will automatically take the last step as the completion step. But ideally, if you are a good Workday consultant, always go ahead and mark the steps as completed. And how and which step you're going to mark as completed, we will show you where you can check for that. I will show you that particular report. Now we have seen that yesterday when we have created the steps, there was an initiation step automatically. You have seen that. So we cannot remove. Always remember in our business process, if you're creating any business process, you cannot remove that initiation step. You can save only with the initiation step. It's fine, but you cannot remove it. Business process security or all the security groups that is being mentioned there will be controlled by the business process security policy. And we will see how we are going to assign the security group to our business process in our security classes. So don't worry about that security part. But yes, always remember, if you are seeing a security group for a particular task or for a particular step in your business process, that means that particular security group has that security to do that particular task. And we can go ahead and change the business process. So we can go ahead and change the business process. Security always. Action now. An action step can either be a separate business process or review that initiate when a step runs. You can indicate what action you can take in the specify column when configuring a business process definition. We have seen this yesterday. How we are adding this step in our business process. The processes from which you can select vary depending on the business process. You are editing. Only action that makes sense are available. It doesn't mean that you will add it on your own. You are going to add the actions on your own. You will specify it. No, there are actions that are already defined for the respective business processes. We will see how you are going to check what all actions are defined beyond that. Do not entertain any actions or any task from your customer. You can go back and tell them. For this higher business process, We don't have this particular task defined by Workday. So can you please let us know which all actions you want to add from this list? And there is a report. We will go through that report. It will have all the details of the business process task, whether you have to mark it as complete or go whatsoever. A review action is similar to an approval but with edit capabilities. There is a type. Yesterday, we have seen that we have selected the type as action. There is an approval type as well. There is a review type as well. What is the difference between the review and approval step? A review step will give you the edit capabilities as well. You can edit it once. For example, manager has initiated the hire. Then the next step is review hire. Review of that hire. So that means if to the HR admin that particular step of review has went, that means HR admin can edit something if they want. If they don't think that the hire date that has been mentioned by the manager is correct, they don't find it correct, they can edit it. But in the same case, if it has been to approval, that a hire has been to approval for HR to HR admin, then in that case, HR admin cannot edit anything. He only has authority either to approve it or to reject it. Or there is an option send back. Reject means whole business process will be rejected. Again, the manager has to initiate it from the scratch. Send back means it will send back to one level down. So there are three options. Either he can approve it, either he can send back it, or either he can reject it. Rejection will clear all the business process. Cancel means it will just stop all the business process. Send back means business process will be active, just it will be sent back to one level down. So that is the difference between the review and the approval. Always remember, this can also be a small question, quick question. They will ask you because core HCM, they will ask you, you just check for the knowledge. And nowadays, believe me, companies are hiring like hell. They're not looking into the certifications as well. They're just hiring on the basis of your knowledge, Workday core HCM knowledge. If you have worked at HCM knowledge, they will hire you. So just as I'm telling you small questions, they will just check on each and every topic. They will touch base each and every topic, whether it's going to do a business process, whether it's going to be security or a compensation. They will touch base each and everything. Just frame questions within the concept itself. That's it. They want someone to have Workday knowledge, and believe me, they are even taking sister skills as well. If you have good knowledge of the sister skills means SAP HCM if you are coming, PeopleSoft if you are coming from. Because you have done human capital management there as well, in those ERPs as well. They are even taking employees from the sister skills as well. Those are known as sister skills. You can see in the job description as well. Even if you have sister skills like SAP HCM, PeopleSoft or some kind of human capital management you have done. So even they are taking the employees from there. But you should have quick knowledge. You should be responsive enough. Just they are checking the basics. If you have knowledge about it, they are taking. Because market is nowadays open. One question, Ankita. The business process that you have mentioned for Workday, this is only for Workday, we cannot. So if you have a sister process where from Oracle, Delio or ADP or SAP, we cannot copy the business process from the legacy to here. You can only take the steps from there, how they are progressing there. What kind of approval is needed within the hire? Because client will say that, client will come ahead and tell you that I want to implement Workday in my system for my organization. Now they will tell you what all steps we are following in the hire business process. So what are the steps we are following in the hire? When we are hiring the employee, they will tell you the steps. Then you are going to configure it within the system. Because you are the Workday consultant, you know it. How you are going to configure the hire business process, how you are going to steps, how you are going to add the steps. You know that you are a Workday consultant. They will tell you the simple steps. First, the hire will be initiated by the manager of the employee or whoever wants to initiate it. Then second, they will go for the approval. Third, they will check for the country, and if the country is USA, they want to open the I-9 form, and they will tell you like this. Then you are the Workday consultant. You know that how you are going to add the steps, because then you will configure in the system. They will only tell you the steps because business processes. The definition itself says that the steps that is executed to complete that particular business process or that business object. You can say that. No, I got that. So when someone is applying a job and dies, Monster, Indeed, or any other website, you get like about 4 to 5 screens, 4 to 5 things, and that data is coming into Workday. So the same business process is taken into consideration when actually that guy is applying as a full-time or a contractor employee where he gives all the details. And then that is something recruitment module will handle. That is internal career, external career, employer job. So that is the job people are applying for the job within this organization itself. That is known as internal job posting, and their external job posting. That is recruitment module. So that is different module. So this is hiring once the job process. Everything offer letter is rolled out to the employees. Now we are going to hire the employee within the system. That is recruitment module that you are talking about. So I have already told you an approval step gives the designated approval. So you have the opportunity to approve or deny the entire business process. If an approver selects deny, the business process terminates and all Workday data that was changed at part of the business process up to that point is restored to the state it was in before the business process is started. That is the thing I was telling you. If you have rejected it or denied it, that means it will terminate the whole business process. But if you are sending it back, if an approver selects send back for an approval step, they are presented with options to send the step back. So if you are sending it back to prior steps in the parent process, including the initiation step and prior approval steps in the business process, they can send back to anyone. So Ankita in the inbox when a person or manager sends back the decision to the business process. So what is the subject? It is mentioned. How does the person? It would be the same. It would be the same, for example, once a chair admin is clicked. When a chair admin is clicked, he will be sent back. He will have that option to which step you want to send back. Is it to the initiation step or you want to send it to the approval step to back? Or you want to send it to the proposed compensation change? So it will give you the drop down once you click on that send back. So the moment he will select for the proposed compensation change, for example, it will go to the respective security group saying that proposed compensation change for A, B, C employee. So it will be the heading. It will be the same, simple. That step will again reappear in that particular security group. Employee. Now approval chain. There you will have a step type as approval chain. Approval chain means I want to execute. For example, I want that approval of proposed compensation change to happen. Start from manager and it should go till vice president, till Vice President approves that particular step. So in our single step, how I'm going to insert it? It's via approval chain. Always remember. So an approval chain is a sequence of approvals that starts with an individual. The individual from which you want to start the approval will be mentioned in that security group of the step. Then goes to the selected roles for that person and continues up the chain until it gets to the top of the chain or until an exit condition is met. We will be configuring this approval chain. I will show you how you are going to configure the approval chain. But yes, as of now, just remember, approval chain means sequence of approval needed for a particular step. If, for example, an approval proposed compensation change approval, we are hiring some CEO. They can say that if we are hiring an employee, it should CEO. The condition will be there if you are hiring a CEO, then approval, then you should go to the approval chain. That means it should go from the manager till the vice president approval or some board of directors approvals. So that's the step. The approval chain means it's two steps above. The approval chain will be. No approval chain can be. It will depend. The exit condition that you are going to give means there would be an exit condition for approval chain. That means once that exit condition, if you have mentioned that it should go only 3 steps or it should go only 4 steps above the management level. So if you have mentioned 4 after 4 management levels, it will automatically skip and go to the next step once it is approved by the 4 management levels. If you have mentioned the count as 4 in the exit condition, if you have mentioned 2, that means it will go to the manager and then vice president. And if the approval is done by the vice president, it will go to the next step. Approval chain is completed. So it will depend on the exit conditions, what you have given. If you want 4 management level approvals, you will get the exit condition as count as 4. If you want 2, you will get the exit count as 2. So in the approval chain, does it involve the management hierarchy? Do we have to select the management hierarchy with the exact position? The system will know that the system has the management level hierarchy defined for sure. So if you have mentioned the count as 2 and the security group for that approval chain step you have mentioned as manager and the count in the exit you have mentioned as 2 means after 2, it should skip. So it will start from manager, then it will go to the vice president and 2 is done. Count 2 is done. So Workday knows that 2 is done. That means I have to exit it. So the Workday will exit it from there and it will go to the next step. If they don't agree on it, if one of the directors don't agree on the compensation, what happens? Then again, they have the authority. Same authority, they can send back, they can reject it. They can approve it. Everything will be same. Everything will be same. Yep, got it. Now comes the consolidated approval chain. For example, manager needs. In your business process, you have assigned manager to 3 tasks. 3 steps. Manager needs to do approval as well. Manager needs to be involved in the approval chain as well. And then manager needs to be in the proposed compensation or approval of the compensation chain and change as well. 3 steps that needs to be taken care by the manager. So in that case, we can configure the consolidated approval chain. This step concatenates data from previous individual steps in a business process and then present that data in a dynamically generated custom approval page. That means whenever you have configured this consolidated approval chain at a step, the screen will come. Whenever the hire will get triggered, a screen will come to the manager, for example. I have configured it for the manager. One step is their proposed compensation change. And in that I have configured this consolidated approval chain. Consolidated word itself immediately should trigger you. That means some kind of approvals that are consolidated for that particular security group. So in that case, manager needs to approve three things. He has to approve the hire. He has to approve the compensation change as well, as he is in the approval chain as well. So in that case, all the three approvals will directly come to its inbox. Like this table is there. You can see at my screen, 3 table will be there. Under this first column, it will be written as approved. Approval. What approval? Description. Description. It will be written as hire. Approval chain. Description. It will be written as hire. Now proposed compensation change. So it would be written as approval. You want approval for the proposed compensation change. So likewise, a table will be there and a checkbox will be there at the start. If you want to do all the approvals, select those checkbox. 1, 2, 3. And directly, you can click on the approval. Approve button will be there. All the 3 will be approved at a time. So that's the meaning of consolidated approval chain. Again and again, manager no needs to go back. All the steps will be triggered to the manager. At a time, it will be triggered to the manager. So this step type concatenates word itself tells you concatenates data from previous individual steps in a business process and then present that data in a dynamically generated custom approval page. This allows users to approve or deny several previous steps as a single action. Only a single action can be taken. Excuse me, could you give that example again? For that, sorry. For example, in your hire business process, there is step number B, that is approval for hire. Again, there is step number C, that is proposed compensation change. So that is approval for hire. That is also needs to be done by the manager. Now there is a step number D, that is your approval chain. We can say that or change personal information. I am just taking it, it's an example. These are the 3 steps that needs to be taken care by manager. So in that case, again and again, all the 3 steps will get triggered to the manager. Correct. So instead of the steps going individually to the manager, what we will do is at the 3rd step. That means change personal information. We will insert a consolidated approval chain there. We will insert consolidated approval change. In that case, all the 3 steps will simultaneously occur in the manager inbox. Once the hire is initiated by the HR manager, then 2nd step is the approval. 3rd step is the proposed compensation change. And 4th step is your change personal information. So the manager will get approval. So the manager will get a column in his inbox. Like it is getting messages. I've shown you in the inbox messages we are getting. So manager will get a column. Likewise, 3 rows will be there and 2 columns will be there and it will have 3 checkbox against it. Step type approval description. You are going to approve 2 of the hire. Then step type will be proposed compensation change. You are going to assign the compensation. 3rd step will be change in personal information. You are going to change the personal information description will be there and simultaneously there will be 3 checkbox. Manager can simultaneously check all the 3 checkbox and he or she can approve it directly. All the 3 steps in a single go. In a single action, he or she can take it. This is step type concatenates data from previous individual steps in a business process and then present that data in a dynamically generated custom approval page. This allows user to approve or deny several previous steps as a single action. Usually we don't configure. I don't prefer this consolidated approval chain. Why? Because it will only allow you to take a single action. Either you can approve all the 3 steps, either you are going to reject all the 3 steps. If you want, you can go ahead if your client has requested. Instead of going again and again to the manager, why to disturb him? Because he only has to take the action for all the 3 steps. Just try to configure the approval chain. If there is a facility that Workday provides you, so in that also you can go back as a performance improvement. If you see that your client has told you there are 3 steps or 4 steps that needs to be approved by the manager, you can always go back and propose them. There are 4 steps I can see that needs approval from manager. So why to go to manager again and again? We can configure the consolidated approval chain and Workday provides that facility. You can go back and always tell it to the client because client never knows that. Then doesn't know the configuration or implementation within the Workday. They are the end users. They simply know you have to configure this, so you can always go back and propose them what 4 steps are needed. To approve by manager, you can go ahead and consult. I can go ahead and consolidate the approval. If you want, I can do that for you in the system. They will immediately be happy. No. That's good. That's very good. So instead of again and again going to the manager, we can insert this. So this is a facility that Workday provides you. Ankita, I have 2 questions on this part. The first question is, like what you sold to us in the that will be to 1 is the columns and rows is about the way manager gets 3 action items to be done and you told that key. It has to be a radio button where you can take and then approve. The manager will get an option that keeps, suppose like what? You've given an example like that. That the compensation and then the hire and then the change name details and all the stuff is supposed to. Manager is not convinced with the hire, but he's convinced with the compensation and the change in data. He can select that 2 radio buttons and then approve it. Then the 2 will get approved and the 1 will be still pending with him. Yes, and then again it will be still pending. It will come to the manager inbox again. It will go back and send back it to them. You can send back that single request out of the 3 requests to we can approve, and 1 he can send back that option, this is yes. The second question, what I have it is that key with respect to the order. It's suppose the manager is being tagged as an approver for order B, D and suppose E, if I've taken an order. So is it like that key once the B order is been triggered? He will get the notification for both B, D, E, all 3 in one go, or how it will be all. Configure approval change. We will usually do it at the end, final step of the manager. So automatically. Go for all the steps to the manager. If you want to simultaneously approve it at a single go, he can approve it. But in that case, so we are skipping the approver of C. Suppose the manager is convinced. It will be when it will go to the manager. It will go to the manager. If that is the case, it will go to the manager. If we have configured consolidated approval, so we did a pro chain. If we have configured this at the first step itself, then it will go at the first. If we have configured it at the end, usually we used to configure it at the top. Otherwise at the first step, that manager needs to approve. If you want, he can approve all those 3 at a single go. But in that case, we are skipping the approver. C means without approving the C, the manager. I know that that's the limitation with the consolidated approval chain. I mean, that is even the bug or something like that, where means yes, without option C, without approving this approval C. It means it has to be a means like a consolidated approval chain, has to be done in the start itself. If you're doing it in the end, it is not going to add value because anyhow you will go and do the single activity again and again. Correct. I have a question. I don't prefer this step, this consolidated, because you are skipping a lot of things. Yes, if the approval process, actually yes. So I just want to know that here you are mentioning manager. This is the line manager or just the HR manager. Manager means the manager of that particular supervisory organization. Because we are going to perform. Always remember business process, staffing, everything. We are going to perform on the supervisory organization only. Everything will be performed on the supervisory organization. That's why it's the primary building block for the Workday core HCM, everything at each and everything. Staffing, create position, hiring, executing the business process. Everything will be done on the supervisory organization only. So it's going to be the manager of the supervisory organization. Like you have just seen, we were assigning it. You have mentioned previously, especially when you are configuring the business process, it should be very simple and straightforward. When you have complexity, then you might get some errors. So from a business side, do they understand that? Or from the client side, do they understand? It has to be simple. It should not be complex. Otherwise, no, it's we are who are going to insert the conditions, how we are going to insert the conditions, how we are going to manage it. They will simply tell you, that's my requirement. Now you have to configure it. That's where Workday consultant comes. That's why we are consultants. So do we have test? Dev instances tenants on the client side. No, we don't have client side, but I will show that configuration to you within this training tenant. Only, don't worry. You will have full view of what we are doing it and post this full topic operation. I will give you a proper case study. You are going to configure your own organization with all the requirement. You are going to hire employees within it. This is the activity documents that I'm giving you. Activity documents means it's just a revision of your skills or what all things you have to do in order to perform that particular step. But at the end, I will give you a case study and we will discuss that case study as well. That means how you are going to configure each and everything for an organization. Well, going to create your own corporation and you will do that. Don't worry about it. So, it means that we are implementing everything and at the end we are testing if it's working properly. Yes, correct. Correct, definitely. You have to test it, otherwise what's the meaning of creating the things? So, if I think like I have done the business process and I would like to test that, like if it's working business process can only be tested once you will start with the hiring. If you are doing the hiring business process, then you can only test it once you are doing the hiring. So we will do hiring. I've already told you guys, we will do hiring once the security part is completed, because without assigning the proper security rules, how you are going to do the hiring? So security is also necessary. So at the end only we can see yes. Test means if you are able to hire the employee successfully, that means your hire BP is working successfully. If you are able to terminate the employee successfully within the system, that means your terminate BP is working successfully. It's correct. Only that's the way of testing, or that's the way of checking whether you have configured it correctly based on a client requirement or not. So you can see that the service is working. And then comes the service step. A service step is an automated process that is triggered by Workday. For example, the Create Workday Account service automatically creates a user account from the username rule and emails a temporary password to the new user. So that's something that Workday automatically does. It I have already told you. And then comes the to do activity. This is also, I've told you, to do activity is an activity that an individual must perform within or outside of Workday that you want to add as a step to a business process. Workday does not check if the user performed the task or not. The user simply has to submit the task to move to the next step in the process. Simply, I have told you, you have to simply click on the submit if it is done. For example, background verification. I have taken an example or documents collected. So, who needs to collect the documents from the employee somewhere? For example, for my organization, HR administrator needs to collect the documents from the employee. Once all the documents are collected or the employee has sent it to the HR admin, he or she will go back and just submit that particular task. That means he or she has got that particular document. That's it. So Workday won't check for it whether you have done that activity within the system or not. It will simply wait for that approval. If it is not done, it will simply lie in your inbox to do. Now coming to the next step, to our most important report of the business process. I won't. I will tell you and I won't after this report. Simply we are going to create the business process. I will show you the different steps, how to create the sub-process and everything within it, and then the step conditions, how you are going to configure the approval change. Only practical will be remaining. And in next 2 days we will be completed. The most important group that you should know is when you are configuring the whenever you are configuring or creating any business process in your Workday. This report should be open in your Workday account as in duplicate page. I have told you, you guys know about it, how to open the duplicate page. Now I'm in a sharing mode, I cannot, so click on your tab and open the duplicate page. This report should be open if you are a good Workday employee. Consultant. This report should be open whenever you are configuring a business process within Workday. So business process configuration option report, see business process configuration options. This is a report. This if you are configuring a work business process. This report should be open in our tab for you guys. For example, now we are concentrating on the hire business process. So here I will open it for hire. If you are configuring termination business process, then you will open it for the business process type, termination. If you are configuring change of, you will open this report for change job. So it depends which business process you are configuring. So I'm now configuring hire. I will open it for hire. See, there are n number of search results. I will open it for hire. I will click on port will get open. Business process type hire. Description will be there. All these things will be there. These things are all the information that hire business process will have. That means this is the description. You can go through the description. Then whether any sub-process is allowed for hire or not. Yes, it is allowed. Valid for usages where you are going to configure the business processes. Automatically. This is for termination or supervisory only. You are going to configure all business process for supervisory. Is it approvable? Means whether you have the approval steps in the hire business process. Yes, you can approve it. Ad hoc approvals are also available for hire business process. You can also cancel at any particular step. You can cancel the hire business process. You can also correct it. You can also advance it to the next level. You can rescind it. You can want all the approval options I have told you. That in the approval step, that particular security group, either he can approve it or deny it, or he can send back it. We have already discussed all these 3 options. So these are the approval options from this report. Everything will be picked up for your business processes. Always remember any business process you are working on. Everything always come back and check if you are not able to perform any step. If you are not able to approve it, go back to this Open this report and check it whether this particular business process type has that approval option checked or not. If it is no, that means you cannot perform any kind of approval for that particular business process. So this is the report where you can fetch all kind of information I was talking about for your business process. Coming to side, the main thing that we need. You can go through all these columns if you want. Coming back to the main column here, you can see that what all the tasks we can have it. I have told you we cannot add any further task. It's all Workday delivered one. You can only select from these tasks that are mentioned in this report for this particular business process. So these are all the tasks. You can add it. These are the options that are available for these tasks. That means I will go to the task that is familiar to you guys. Change personal information. This is quite familiar to you. It's quite visible. For visible with us, a task name is itself. So change personal information. Change for personal information. We can only have two options. Either it can be saved for later or directly you can submit it. You cannot reject it. You cannot deny it. This particular task. Why? Because there are no options mentioned for this particular task. These are the main columns that you should concentrate on, starting from task till restrictions. Now initiate sub-processes, something we will. We will create it tomorrow. How you are going to? Insert the sub-processes. Sub-processes means change personal information is a task that is being mentioned by the we have created. We have mentioned in the higher business process, main business process within change personal information. You can also approve it. You can also review. You can also send it for the review. So that means if anything that is initiating sub-process, we can take further action on that particular steps. If you want. If wants, you can go back and ask them. If they have mentioned that we need to have a step change, personal information. So if you're going to add used, you can go back and tell them boss. This is also trading sub-process. So do you want any further steps? For change personal information. That means whether you want any kind of approval or review. For this or anything you want related to change personal information. You can always go back and ask them if any sub-process is being initiated for that particular task. If not, you can see here some task doesn't initiate sub-processes. See assign worker record, it doesn't initiate any sub-processes. So that means you cannot take further action on this particular task. But he has for change benefit election. It is triggering a sub-process. That means you can take further action on that particular task. I will show you in the system how you are configuring or how the things I will show you tomorrow a table and we will configure it accordingly according to that particular table. So that to avoid all kind of confusions. So this is the report that you should refer now here. If you go to the change personal information, this is change personal information task. Now here it is mentioned whether it is restrictions. Nothing is mentioned here, not before completion or after condition. I have told you, if you have to inform Workday. Being a good Workday consultant, you have to inform Workday that whether you have to mark it as completion or not. So if you have this is step doesn't have any restriction, that means you can enter this particular step either before completion or after completion as well. Well then won't give you any kind of error. But if a step, for example, change benefit steps, restrictions has been there after completion only, that means change. Task you can only enter if you have marked something as completion, otherwise your business process will go into error. So make sure whenever you are entering any task in your business process, this report should be open for you. For example, there are 3 to 4 steps you are going to enter. Change benefit jobs and you have entered it before the completion or there is no completion mark in your business process will get into error. What error it will throw you? The step number D, change benefit jobs, should be mentioned after completion only. It will give you an error. Why? Because now you will scratch your head from there. Why I am getting this error from this report? You are getting this error because in this business process configuration option reports for change benefit job, it is clearly mentioned it should come after completion step only. So you have to correct your business process in that place. So this is the main report whenever you are creating any kind of business process. Whether you are working in any module, it's payroll time, absence tracking or anything, you are working in any advanced model, if you are configuring business process in Workday, this is the main report you should always open simultaneously. Otherwise, your business process will get into error if you don't know this report. Your business process will definitely get into error and I will show you tomorrow and then how you are getting those error. How these restrictions are fulfilled, how we are going to add the steps. I will show you how we are going to add that to what change. All the consolidated to watch and how everything will work. I'm going to just one question. This report has been already defined by people. Just follow. Just follow this, yes. And this is like. The restriction which has been put in it is in order to be put it away. The Workday itself, we are not really mentioned in this report, is defined by Workday only. We cannot change anything. And also have to do it. 56C, only 56 tasks are available for higher business process in this particular tenant. So 56 tasks are available for higher business process. And we have to win. When we are creating an hire in the system, we have to follow all these 56 stars. It's not mandatory that. Time to decline. No, you are going to select it among these 50 and 56 steps only. Any. You can have 3 steps also. They can have 4 steps also. But those tasks should belong to this particular report. They should be there in this particular report. I have one more doubt on that, but like change your name. Like what you told it. The task can be part of hire as well as part of separation. Can be part of termination. Everything. This is hire business process checking this report. We are checking hire. These are only but the cost. But this task can be used parallelly at the same time at any. It depends if we are opening it for termination. If it is there, if there is mention it there, then yes, I cannot say it by looking on the higher business process. If that change personal information is here for the termination process type, then I can say that yes, we can use it. See, I'm just asking that even you created. Is it the same task can be used for various business processes? No, only for the particular business process type that we have opened for this particular report. In this termination, there is no change in personal information. So even if you will create the termination business process, you won't see that particular task here because it's only already in alphabetical order. There is no change personal information. So you cannot use that particular task. So if you want to cross-check the task for the respective business process, you have to open the particular business process type for this particular report. Like just now, I've opened it for termination. When the change percent type can be used only in hire. Other than that, yes, because during the life cycle of an employee, you cannot say that change personal information can only be used in the hirer. You cannot say that. Just, you can check for the particular business process type. We cannot check it via task. We can only check it via business process time. For example, if I'm opening ready for hire business process. So if I'm using this is something recruitment guys use. Use it, ready for hire. So if I'm opening it, I have to check it for this, ready for hire business process. Whether change with personal information is there for this particular. See, it is there for this. Change personal information and it. But from the change personal information, we cannot see that. Which all? No, you cannot check on the business process, task. You can only check the business process type. And see here this change. Personal information doesn't initiate any sub-process in a higher business process. It was initiating a sub-process. It was in your sub-process. Yes, so it depends upon that business process type that you are looking. That's why this report is there. And how many business processes are there in the system? Means for as well as delivered. Any? I have never counted that. But yes, all the important business process I will tell you. But all business processes are important. And also I will tell you all the reports. If you want to fetch any data, for example, they will come back to you and say that. We want to see all the events that are being cancelled. We want to audit it. So I will tell you the report names. You can note it down. Once you're done with the creation, I will tell you all the reports name as well. So some reporting you have to by heart. I must tell you, you have to by heart because it can be asked in your interview as well. I will tell you the report. So by heart, I will tell you. The business process that you mentioned, note for hire and termination, and for the allowed actions. So is there a workflow that you showed us before? If we get an error or where it is stuck, do we have a workflow where you can click on the workflow and then gives you a diagram from the? No, it's not like that. Once you configure the business process, I've shown you the screen yesterday, that business process. So once you configure it and once you click on, it will give you an error. 2 errors, 3 errors, 4 errors. You will click on that and it will be mentioned there. What are the errors? Then you have to again go back and edit the business process and correct those errors. It's not related to some workflow. We will go into our errors. I will generally make some error and I will show you how you are going to correct those errors or how you are going to insert those steps. I will show you. Don't worry. I will show you how you are going to create the business process. The simple business process is the best process. Yes. And then what you can do is you can go back tomorrow. We will be done with that creation of the business process. Then what I want is don't create the same business process or don't insert the same steps that I have inserted while demonstrating it to you. Go ahead and open this business process configuration option report for your higher business process type and try to insert the other task and check whether you are able to insert them successfully or not. If there is any error, whether you are able to rectify it. If there is any error, whether you are able to rectify it, because definitely you can. This is the training tenant. You can open my business process and you can simply go ahead and add those steps by looking at my business process. So that doesn't suffice your knowledge. So go ahead and please do like, share and subscribe to our channel.